Hey y'all, so I have something to say.
All assemble. When we fight the bitches, we gon' make the city tremble.
I mean, a bitch get lit just a little bit. I mean, a bitch get drunk just a little bit. I mean, a bitch get high just a little bit. I mean, a bitch get drunk just a little bit. You know a bitch do. You know a bitch will. You know a bitch do. You know a bitch will.
Exactly. The Multiverse of Cuntness music video is out now. You will want to check my description box so that you can get into it, get your entire life. I'm so happy that Ocean wanted me to be on this track. So glad we did the video. He edited that video down. It looks amazing. We had so much fun shooting it. Get into it. Stream Multiverse of Kindness. Watch the video. We're about to be performing it as well this week. Check my accounts, Instagram and Twitter and all that shit for that. We're getting to it. Get your life. Get your life. And speaking of nerdy shit, you already know what I'm gonna say. Make sure you go into my new channel, youtube.com/AvatarAdrian. I talked about a lot of stuff. I talked about the Black Panther trailer, which go over there and check the video. I'm telling you right now, as I said in the video, I really think it's amazing that they faced all of those hurdles, all of those roadblocks, and they came out with a trailer that looks that good, like for Black Panther 2. I talked about the Comic-Con news that we got about Marvel. I talked about Avatar: The Last Airbender. Apparently, they're doing a new animated film that follows Aang and his friends when they're young adults. I got a Nope review coming up on there. Okay, so you definitely will want to check it out. So many things for y'all to check out. Patreon as well. Just delicious. So much for y'all to eat. Y'all are eating. You're eating. Long ass announcements. All right, let's get into the topics. This video is not going to be complicated today. But since we just talked about Nope and how I am going to be reviewing it on my other channel, I want to talk about Keke Palmer, right? So I'm reading this, I forget which it's an article from AV Club or something. So basically, Keke Palmer's responding to people comparing her, right? So the tweet in question went on to contrast and compare the two women's, Zendaya and Keke Palmer's, mainstream success, claiming that the actress's ranges in popularity may be one of the clearest examples of how colorism plays out in Hollywood. In the thread, the account continued by pointing out how Palmer's role in Jordan Peele's Nope has been looked at as her breakout role, yet she has done so much throughout her career. And so Keke Palmer did not really like this whole conversation that was going on, comparing her to Zendaya, and she said this, and I have some thoughts about it, but she said this. As a response, she says, "A great example of colorism is to believe I can be compared to anyone. I'm the youngest talk show host ever, the first black woman to star in her own show on Nickelodeon, and the youngest and first black Cinderella on Broadway. I'm an incomparable talent. Baby, this is Keke Palmer. I've been a leading lady since I was 11 years old. I have over 100 credits. I'm in Nope." She just talks about her sickening ass resume, and she's always booked and busy, and she's like always working and making a coin, right? But I don't think, from what I can see, the limited knowledge that I have about like the thread that she was responding to, from what I can see, this person is saying, I don't think that they're negating that Keke Palmer has done a whole lot. I think they're saying that you have done a lot, and it's for that reason that people should not be referring to you in Nope as your breakout role. You see what I'm saying? I think that's what they were trying to say, and Keke Palmer responded in a way that she was just like, y'all need to stop talking about this shit, period. But I don't know. What do y'all think about that? I can completely understand your desire to not want to be compared to anybody, not want to be talked about, not want to have entire discussions happening about you versus Zendaya on social media. Like, I get that, but I think what the person was trying to say, as I said before, was the fact that Keke has done so much that these articles or these people referring to her as like, oh my God, this is your breakout role. This is your first big role. When she does Nope, I think that's crazy, and I think that's what the person was trying to say. But I would love to hear y'all thoughts on it. Joe Biden is playing so many goddamn games. Joe Biden is playing so many games. So apparently, listen, this comes from Bloomberg. President Joe Biden is considering extending a pause on student loan repayments for several more months, as well as forgiving $10,000 in student loan debt per borrower, as he seeks to appeal to young voters ahead of the November midterms. Although Biden's top economic aides have argued student loan forgiveness will not fuel inflation, I don't even don't even know a lot about economics and the way that shit works, but the way that anybody saying that you're forgiving student loans will fuel inflation, I feel like they don't know what the fuck they talking about. But whatever. Even with that knowledge that it won't fuel inflation, White House officials have been reluctant to hand Republicans any additional talking points. The opposition party has sought to portray the administration as flooding the economy with money and thereby adding to inflationary pressure. Now, my thing is, like, Democrats don't need to be worried about nothing that Republicans doing. I did a quick search and this is what I came up with. You ain't got nothing to lose at this point. Oh, we're worried about what the Republicans gonna do. They ain't worried about what y'all doing. Let me tell you something. You need to, what do you think is gonna happen at the midterms? Like, the only way people are gonna be motivated to take their ass to these polls and do anything in the name of Biden is if they can forgive. I'm not talking about 10 fucking racks, bitch. The article goes on, it's unclear if the approach will appease civil rights organizations like the NAACP, progressive Democratic lawmakers, and of course these powerful labor unions that have pressed Biden to forgive, you know, at least $50,000 per person per borrower. But the plan is intended to appeal voters under the age of 30 whose enthusiasm or lack thereof in November could be key to determining whether Democrats retain control of the House and Senate. And that's what I'm saying. Like, y'all have no, y'all need to get out my fucking face talking about $10,000, bitch. Y'all need to delete all that shit. I don't care. Like, I was over here like, oh, well, maybe, you know, compromise, bullshit. Y'all need to delete all that shit. And here's why. Let's look at some of these things that's been happening. PBS. The White House announced Friday that the United States is sending an additional $270 million in security assistance to Ukraine. This is bringing the total security assistance committed to Ukraine by the Biden administration to $8.2 billion. And is being paid for through $40 billion in economic and security aid for Ukraine approved by Congress in May. This next one is coming from ABC. President Joe Biden will unveil on Thursday an expanded budget request to Congress with $37 billion in funding for law enforcement. So he's trying to give $37 billion to fucking law enforcement. Urban.org says in 2019, state and local governments spent $123 billion on police, $82 billion on corrections, and $50 billion on courts. Look at this graph. Let's keep going. Look at this graph from Statista, and it says that give or take, we're spending around $700 billion per year on the military, right? and per year, right? So 2-3 years, you got $2 trillion. We find money in this country. The government finds money. The White House finds money. These branches of government find money when they want to find money for what they want to find money for, bitch. You're not going to look in my face and tell me that it's impossible for this shit to happen. All you need to do is give a fuck about the citizens in your country. Like, that's it. That's it. And the amount of times y'all done bailed out these banks and these fucking airlines with our coin, you got to stop accepting crumbs from this administration and tell them what the fuck you need. These bitches want your votes, and I want a zero balance on my student fucking loans. That's it. That's it. Don't accept these crumbs, bitch. If they can throw money around like it's nothing to these other countries, dropping it on the military, dropping it on police, they can do some shit that makes some sense, bitch. 10 racks. Get out my face. Get out my face. Get out my face. Get out my face. Biden needs to stop playing. Especially these bitches want to retain control over the, you know, the House. Like, demand what we want from this White House since they tell our ass to get up and fucking vote. Get out my face. This is real quick. So apparently Jessica Alba was somewhere. And it's so crazy because Jessica Alba is my god. Like, you know what I mean? She is Fantastic Four for me. Like, you know? But as well as Chris Evans, whatever. But Jessica Alba, she was talking, and she was right. You know, she was just talking about the state of diversity, and she's talking about Marvel. Look, so she said, even if you look at the Marvel movies, that's the biggest driver of fantasy and what's happening right now in entertainment, because it's sort of a family thing. She said it's still quite Caucasian. She was talking about the lack of diversity, like I said. And BuzzFeed says she says that she was one of the few back in the day, but things didn't really get significantly better when Marvel was sold to Disney. She said it's still quite more of the same. And I'm just like, yes, you're completely right, Jessica, but you said you was you was one of the few back in the day, and I'm just like, no shade at all, Jessica, because you ate that Invisible Woman role up. But you was moving through the industry like a white woman. Her father's Mexican-American, her mother is Danish and French or whatever. But I'm just like, ma'am, it was just like, ma'am, you were moving through the system as a blonde-haired, blue-eyed white woman. Like, you got to stop playing with me. I was one of the few back in the day, ma'am. Like, ma'am. Now, yes, you were a minority on the team, maybe being a woman. I was just like, this conversation, don't make it sound unserious with that sentence. Like, you was on the road, baby. Just keep it going. Back in the day, you was one of the few. It's like, all right. All right, not too much. Watch this. This is part of Kid Cudi's experience at Rolling Loud.
Fucking leave. If I get hit with one more fucking thing, if I see one more fucking thing on this fucking stage, I'm leaving. Don't fuck with me.
Not sure why people thought it was fun and cute to be pelting his ass just because your favorite Donald Trump supporting, you know, slavery was a choice built ass motherfucker dropped out. Kanye dropped out of Rolling Loud and Kid Cudi replaced him. And I guess the fans was not happy with that shit. And they started throwing shit at him. And I'm just like, you need to, why are you throwing shit at you? Aren't you supposed to be mad at the person who dropped out? Be mad at your fave. And then even then he came back and fucking gave y'all a surprise appearance at the end. So it's just like, I think that shit is so completely unnecessary. But a lot of times, you know how they say apples don't fall too far from the tree? A lot of times the fans don't fall too far from their fave. That's it. We over here like, oh my God, why you acting like that? Why you doing that? Why would you throw shit at Kid Cudi and then you look at who their fave is? That's it. Anyway, on that note, love y'all so much. Thank you so much for checking out my video. Do not forget to check out Multiverse of Cuntness. Music videos out. Also, Avatar Adrian, my Patreon, all that stuff is in my description. Love you so much. Make sure that you have a good goddamn evening.
Can you fuck me in your all black Mercedes?